searching for that next hot trend and opportunity in crypto? I know I am. After all, getting in on the ground floor has yielded results for quite a few crypto millionaires. Imagine if you'd had the foresight to get into Bitcoin or projects like Ethereum right at the start. Chances are you'd be doing pretty well for yourself today. So, what can we learn from all that? Put simply, it pays to spot successful opportunities early and get exposure to them. My name is Guy, and in this video, I'm going to explain the reasons why I believe that blockchain domains are a $1 million opportunity, and I'll also show you exactly how to start your very own domain flipping side hustle today. Oh yes, and make sure you stick around till the end if you want to hear my thoughts on the pros and cons of domain flipping and what blockchain domains I am personally getting massive exposure to right now. Before I get going, I need to drop a bombshell. I am not a financial advisor, and that means this video is for educational purposes only. If you're going to make waves in the cryptoverse, then be sure to consult your financial advisor before making any hasty moves. With that out of the way, I'd like to welcome anyone new to the Bureau. I regularly cover coins, markets, and create handy guides just like this one. So, if that sounds like something you're interested in, then be sure to smash that subscribe button and flick on those notifications. Do that, and the chaps at YouTube will let you know whenever I release another video. All set? Great. Let's get into it. To kick things off, I'm just going to give you guys a bit of an overview on regular and blockchain domains. If you're already a blockchain domain whiz, feel free to jump around with the timestamps that I've provided below. So, what is a normal domain? Well, it's an address that internet users can use to access your website. If you're looking for a cracking example, then look no further than CoinBureau.com. I've heard they are quite the authority when it comes to crypto coin reviews and guides. Blockchain domains act in a similar way, but instead the domain asset is on a blockchain. So what is the point of that? Well, blockchain domains can do two core things that regular domains cannot. The first is that the domain name can also be used as a payment gateway. That means you can attach all your cryptocurrency addresses to a single domain. This replaces complicated crypto addresses that you cannot easily convey to people with human readable names. So, instead of asking a friend to pay me using a random string of numbers and letters, I could just tell them to send Bitcoin to a blockchain domain address that I own, like CoinBureau.crypto. That makes things much easier, right? The second benefit of blockchain domains is that you can build censorship-resistant websites on them. What that means is that no one apart from the domain owner can take a website down. This has tremendous value when you consider that with the current internet, it's actually very easy for you to have your domain and content seized. For website owners like me, that could be millions of words of written content that took countless hours to create. So, blockchain domains can really help website owners sleep better at night in the knowledge that their content cannot be randomly deleted. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can regular domains be taken down? Well, the reason why that is possible is that domains need to be held in a registrar, and just like a bank can seize your money, a domain registrar can seize your domain. That's a problem that is completely solved with blockchain domains, which are actually stored in a wallet, very much like a cryptocurrency. So, now that you know what blockchain domains are and the benefits they have over regular domains, I want to move on to explore why these blockchain domains can be viewed as valuable assets. To understand this, we'll have to hop in my time machine and go back to the 1990s. That was a time when Encarta 95 and Encyclopedia Britannica were still a thing. Yes, guys, my age is showing here. However, as the decade progressed, there was a new kid on the block which started growing in mainstream popularity. That would be the internet. Most people were content just to use this new technology and banter with their friends by adding .com on the end of every word they said. Yes, I even faintly remember my dad making a terrible joke about wanting to go to the casino, which ended in the classic punchline, casino.com. Well, it turns out that the joke was on him. If he'd actually spent less time joking about casinos and more time working out how to actually buy a domain like that, I reckon I'd probably be set up with some sort of trust fund by now. That's because the last time casino.com was sold, it fetched a whopping $5.5 million. Back in the 1990s, there were a ton of different .com domain names available and they could be picked up for just a few bucks. That is, if you knew how to buy them and believed that the internet would actually become a big deal. Flash forward to today and some of those domains have sold for crazy money. I'm talking about domains like carinsurance.com, which last sold for $50 million, and vacationrentals.com, which fetched $35 million. Now, to illustrate how crazy profitable some of those .com domains were, I want to tell you a brief story about Matt Blaze. Matt was a cryptographer and associate professor at the University of Pennsylvania and spent his time working on concepts like trust management. He was actually one of those few chaps that actually saw the future value in the internet. And naturally, a cryptographer looking for a brand spanking new domain could not do much better than crypto.com. That domain was acquired back in 1993 for just a few dollars, and truthfully, Matt was not aware of its future true value. Flash forward to 2018 and the crypto project Monaco came calling and handed over well over $10 million for the domain. Not a bad return for our humble cryptography researcher. Oh, by the way, if you want to learn more about crypto.com, then be sure to watch my video on it right here. So, you get the picture. There are quite a few .com domains selling for some really crazy money. People really did buy domains for a few dollars and end up selling them for millions. That's why for a very long time I have personally viewed domains as one of the most valuable digital assets out there. But why is that? Well, the way I like to think about domains is that they're like online real estate, and let's face it, an ever-increasing amount of business is being done online. What that means is that if there is an entrepreneur or business that needs that domain you're holding, then they will pay through the nose to get it. Naturally, when there is a hot asset market worth potentially millions of dollars per sale, then this draws attention from entrepreneurs, and the domain market is no different. People started buying up promising .com domains simply to sell them for a profit, and the truth is that some of these domain flippers made a ton of money. Put it this way, I was personally bent over a barrel by a domain flipper for that hot domain CoinBureau.com, but what choice did I have? With the feeding frenzy in .com domains, the prices skyrocketed. You can see here that even run-of-the-mill domains like easylandscape.com are going for thousands of dollars. That means that flipping and buying regular .com domains can be super expensive to get into. Truthfully, if you're thinking about getting into the .com domain flipping game, I think you've missed the train to Profitville some time ago. That's because way back in the 2000s, domainers realized that .com domains were saturated, and is why the flippers started gravitating to more exotic domain extensions like .net or .io. After all, how many new businesses really want to spend thousands of dollars on a .com domain when they could get the .net or .io domain for a fraction of the cost? So I know what you're thinking. Do these crazy valuations carry over to blockchain domains? The short answer is not on the same level, and you have to remember that blockchain domains are new and not mainstream by any stretch of the imagination. However, there are some blockchain domains selling for pretty respectable money already. For example, exchange.eth has already changed hands for 6,600 Ethereum. Last time I checked, ETH was valued at around $245. So that would mean the domain was sold for about $1.6 million if we valued ETH as the same value it stands today. I myself got into .eth domains about 2 years ago, and to be honest, I think the easy money has probably already been made with that domain extension. However, there are brand new blockchain domain extensions like .crypto on the market right now. If there's one thing that Matt Blaze and his crypto.com domain has taught me, is that domains with the word crypto in are about as premium as you can get for a blockchain domain. So, how did I make out with my speculation on .eth domains? Well, let's say I did okay for myself. Hopefully, you can now see why I believe blockchain domains are a new emerging asset class that are worth looking at. The good news here is that it's still early, and that's where the opportunities for phenomenal returns always seem to be. Seeing an opportunity is one thing, taking advantage of it is quite another. Truthfully, I cannot really give my dad too much of a hard time for failing to buy casino.com, as the information to take advantage of that opportunity wasn't widely available back then. However, we don't really have that excuse now, given that we can pretty much access all the world's knowledge from our smartphone. Now, I would hate for you guys to miss out here. So that's why I thought it would be helpful to share everything that I've learned about flipping blockchain domains. There's even an opportunity here for you to start your own side hustle or even your own business. Honestly, anyone can do it, and you don't need to be some wizard with a PhD to succeed here. So, where to start? Let's talk about startup costs. This will vary according to how much exposure you want to have in blockchain domains. The good news is that there are no other business expenses than the cost to buy the domain. Let's talk about how you make money flipping domains. Most people want to give you a long, complicated answer. However, your goal here is to simply sell the domains you bought for more than you paid. Buy low and sell high. Alrighty, so to get cracking and start flipping domains like a pro, there are 5 steps I want to share with you. At number 1, I have picking your budget. As with any business venture, I always set myself a budget on how much I want to invest in blockchain domains. The thing to know is that some domains cost $20 and others can cost tens of thousands. I'm aware that invest.crypto and insurance.crypto both sold at pre-auction for $28,000 each. That brings me on to setting your pricing level per domain. Honestly, my market has always been in the $20 to $200 region per domain. Possibly I might stretch to $500 if the domain is super good and I just cannot pass up the opportunity. But if you're going to get into blockchain domain flipping, then you should certainly decide what price region you're going to be shopping in and stick to it. I've got friends who failed to do that, and let's say they got kind of overexposed to the asset class, and that's not good news. Step 2 is choosing your niche. Once I have my budget set, I then want to choose where to spend that money. I want to be straight up with you. When I started domain flipping many years ago, I went after any hot-sounding domain. I went after domains in a plethora of different niches and didn't really have super detailed knowledge in any single one. That was a massive mistake. Nowadays, I instead focus on 1 or 2 niches like crypto and tech and learn everything I can about them. As I spend all day researching crypto-related stuff to make videos for you guys, that's something I don't really have to go out of my way to do. The key thing with blockchain domains is identifying niches that would be interested in acquiring a blockchain domain either right now or in the future. For example, there's probably no point in buying a domain that's in the accountancy niche. After all, most accountancy firms are like dinosaurs and are resistant to change. I don't really see them realizing the value in blockchain domains and being willing to pay top dollar for them anytime soon. All that being said, things are probably very different when it comes to niches like finance and tech. After all, we've seen blockchain adoption come in leaps and bounds in those sectors over the last few years. So, pick a niche, know your market, understand what your audience is, and who the potential buyer could be. My third step is actually finding those valuable domain names. So there are 2 ways of going about this. You can either think long-term or short-term. Let me give you an example of short-term domain flipping. Do you remember when hoverboards were all the rage? Imagine if you bought hoverboard.com and then back in 2015 you sold it for $500,000. That's probably a good deal because no one cares about hoverboards right now. But back then it was hot and you could get a ton of money for that domain. The truth is that you can make top dollar thinking short term. However, you need to make sure you can sell those domains in the lifetime of the opportunity. My preferred method for domain prospecting is actually thinking longer term. Here you want to try and anticipate future trends and see which are the most valuable search terms. Basically, my goal is to find those terms that are extremely valuable from a search engine perspective. Of course, blockchain domains operate differently from normal domains, and the decentralized internet doesn't really have a search engine yet. However, you can be pretty sure that if a keyword is valuable from a traditional search engine perspective, it's going to be valuable for a blockchain domain. So, what do I mean by keywords? Well, these are just words or strings of words that people type into Google in their search query. Basically, domains with those keywords in them pull traffic more easily from users searching for them in Google. Now, how do you find those keywords and know how valuable they are? Well, one completely free tool you can use can be found on Neil Patel's website. I've placed a link to this in the description below. Here you can search keywords like, for instance, Cardano, and see the monthly search volume, what advertisers are willing to pay for a click for this search term, and other related keywords. If I zoom in here, you can see that the keyword Cardano gets 27,000 searches per month, and advertisers are willing to pay $1.52 per click. Oh yes, the SD stat stands for SEO difficulty. That basically refers to how easy it is to rank that keyword in Google. The higher the score, the more difficult it is. Basically, what you're looking for here is keywords with high search volume, high cost per click, CPC, and a low SEO difficulty. If your domain has such a keyword in it, then chances are you're sitting on a pretty valuable domain. Another thing to bear in mind when looking for domains is that if crypto really does become widely accepted, then people will probably want a great sounding payment address. Instead of sending someone my long string Ethereum address, it would be so much simpler if I just said, ping me over the ETH to guy.eth. Companies and people will pay to have that hot sounding and easy to remember payment address. An additional strategy that I found some pretty good success with is just buying the blockchain domain extension for a highly valued .com domain. Now, what other tips have I got up my sleeve? Well, from experience, the better domains to flip are short and memorable. That's because long domains are hard to type out for the user, and that makes them less valuable. It's a similar thing for domains with odd spelling. Another tip I have is that you can go local or global with domain names. An example of going local might be the domain ukexchange.crypto. Such a domain wouldn't really be interesting to a global cryptocurrency exchange. However, it could be very valuable to a local crypto exchange focused on serving the UK. So sometimes you might want to focus on domains at a local level, and often this strategy means that it's easier to see where the value is too. My fourth step is checking out domain availability. By now, you should have a short list of valuable domain ideas that are worth investing in. The next step is going to unstoppabledomains.com. Link to that in the description below. This is where you can buy those .zil and .crypto blockchain domains. The thing to know is that although blockchain domains are new, you cannot expect for every domain to be available. So the domain ukexchange.crypto may not be available anymore because, well, I might have bought it. However, you might be able to get similar domains like frexchange.crypto, deexchange.crypto, and so on. What you're looking for here are similar domains with high keyword search volume. This way, you can still secure promising domains that have all that future potential. Once you've loaded up your shopping cart on Unstoppable Domains, you can pay using a regular bank card, PayPal, Crypto.com, or using any of the cryptocurrencies right here. The final step is actually selling your domains. Right now, there are two main marketplaces for selling those blockchain domains. The first is OpenSea, which has seen a whopping 70,000 ETH in transactions pass through its marketplace since 2018. The second is Mintable, where you can sell those .zil domain names. Unstoppable Domains also provides a free for sale domain template that you can put up on each of your domains. Here you can leave your contact details so that anyone interested in buying it can get in touch with you directly. If you're interested in getting into blockchain domain flipping, then be sure to check out all the additional resources that I've linked to below. Okay team, that is my roundup on blockchain domains and how to get exposure to this new emerging asset class. However, I want to share a few closing thoughts. When it comes to risk, you should be aware that domains are not as liquid as many people believe. So, do know that you might be sitting on them for a while until you get an offer for the price you want. Another important point to make is that the money is basically completely locked in until you sell those domains. Pricing domains is notoriously difficult. To be frank, they are worth what someone is willing to pay. If a person or business has a ton of money and must have that domain you're holding, then you're going to be quids in. I will be straight up with you. Blockchain domain flipping does take work. After all, someone needs to research those hot domains and negotiate those sales deals. Another thing to bear in mind is that blockchain domains are still very new. That means there's certainly risk, but the rewards could be really high too. The way I think about this nascent asset class is that it's an asymmetric bet. I'm either going to get massive multipliers on my investment or I'm going to be stuck holding that domain. Bear that in mind if you're going to enter the world of domain flipping. Finally, who are blockchain domains for? Well, in my book, these assets are an interesting way for crypto veterans to diversify their portfolio holdings and for those that want to start a domain flipping business as a side hustle. Oh yes, I nearly forgot to say it. The domain extension I'm loading up on right now is .crypto. I believe it to be the most versatile out there and think it has wide market appeal. Now, there was a lot to take in there, so well done for making it to the end. I do want to hear your thoughts though. What do you think about blockchain domains? Do you guys have any questions? As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to smash up the likes if you got value from this video and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, but honestly, I have so much more that I want to share. Stuff that I couldn't really fit in this video, sadly. This is exactly why I've started a weekly newsletter. It's basically a compilation of all the interesting content that may have flown under your radar. News, reviews, analysis, and hot market tips. Want to join? Well, don't delay. Just scoot on over to the description where you'll find a link to my sign-up form. There you can enter your email address, hit submit, and hey presto, you are a Coin Bureau insider. My next newsletter is being worked on as we speak, one you won't want to miss. See you next